When you usurp the Constitution's powers, when you try to defy the Constitution, when you use the Department of Justice, when you use prosecutors, FBI agents, judges, and juries in order to try and put your political opponents in prison, and in the case of Donald Trump with 91 charges at the local, state, and federal level, all by Democrats, that's an insurrection. Joe Biden has made it clear, and you could see it in the media taking place, that they're going to try and characterize Trump as Hitler. You know, they were flirting with Stalin and Mussolini and, Osama bin Laden, but they settled on Hitler. And Joe Biden is going to be one of the founding fathers. You understand? Now, I want to spend a little time and break this down with you, because this is repulsive. It's unconscionable. There are Holocaust survivors out there. They call my radio show. I've met some. Wonderful people at book signings. They have numbers burned into their arms. Several of them have shown them to me. Some of them are, very, very elderly. World War II was some time ago, but some were tiny little babies. And I have to imagine when they hear somebody blithely, off the cuff, insincerely, referring to a political opponent like Donald Trump as Adolf Hitler, it must infuriate them, certainly upset them. When you hear Joe Scarborough, or when you hear Jake Tapper and others either refer directly to Trump as Hitler or create the inference, these are individuals who will do anything and say anything to promote themselves, build their own ego, their self-righteousness, and to build an audience as they grift their way through media. The fact of the matter is, there's no politician in America who's Adolf Hitler. None. Now, we have Hitlerians in the streets. We have Hitlerians who are tenured professors. We have Hitlerians running around with the Palestinian flag. Sometimes they get confused and they're carrying the Italian flag, but they're not exactly high on the IQ scale. They're violent, they are vicious, they're trying to destroy our country. They know who they are, and I know who they are. Donald Trump was president for 4 years. We didn't lose our quote-unquote democracy. In fact, we never had a democracy. We're in a constitutional republic. The framers of the Constitution were repulsed by the idea of a democracy. Read the Declaration of Independence. Where's the word democracy in the Declaration of Independence? That focuses on what? God-given, inalienable rights that each individual has. So if you believe in a pure democracy, or as I say over and over again, in the face of criticism, and I don't care, populism, then you reject the Declaration of Independence. Populism, or pure democracy, rejects individualism. That is, the majority rules. The mob's in charge. You want to vote? Well, then maybe the Bill of Rights go away. The Constitution, the Bill of Rights, everything that is said within the Constitution of the Bill of Rights is not about democracy. It's about republicanism. It's about representation. You don't get to vote on the unalienable rights of your neighbor or your fellow citizens. You don't get to vote on the property rights of your neighbor. You don't get to vote on all these unalienable rights. They're God-given. So we're not a democracy. We're not a mob. And we're not a populist system. We're a representative constitutional republic. So first of all, maybe I'm getting a little too scholarly about this. When people say, you're destroying our democracy, we don't have a democracy, Joe Biden, you moron. But that said, we do have a republic. And so let's play along, as we must, and pretend for now what they really mean is our Constitution in our system of government. Okay. So what exactly did Donald Trump do that Hitler did? Nothing. So why do they keep calling him Hitler? Because they want to use the big lie like Goebbels did. Our media are more like Goebbels than Donald Trump is anything like Hitler. It's the big lie. It's propaganda. I wrote an entire book on this called Unfreedom of the Press. They create pseudo-events. One of the pseudo-events is that Donald Trump will destroy democracy, that Donald Trump is Adolf Hitler, that Donald Trump is a dictator. And yet for 4 years, he's not even charged with insurrection. He's not even charged with seditious conspiracy. He's not even charged with any violent act. Do you know not a single person on January 6th has been charged with sedition? Did you know that? Not a single person on January 6th has been charged with sedition. Not one. And yet Donald Trump is Hitler. Donald Trump, who offered the National Guard to protect the Capitol building 48 hours before January 6th, according to numerous eyewitnesses, including the head of the Joint Chiefs who hates Donald Trump, Milley has said independently that Trump offered National Guard. The acting Secretary of Defense said Trump, in that meeting in the Oval Office, offered National Guard. He brought it up himself. Kash Patel, the Chief of Staff to the acting Secretary of Defense, said it too, and there was somebody else. There's eyewitnesses to this. They've testified to this. The Department of Defense, the Inspector General did a report, and he wrote this, which is why you never hear about it. A hell of an insurrection. Nobody was armed. Certainly not with weapons that would suggest that there's an insurrection going on. The only person killed that day was one of the protesters. And she wasn't violent. She was a vet. And she was killed when a shot rang out through the door in the Capitol building in one of the locations. And she died right on the spot. And the individual who shot her is treated as a hero. January 6th. Now, the insurrection's going on right now. The sedition's going on right now. It's a slow roll, but it's getting faster and faster and faster. When you usurp the Constitution's powers, when you try to defy the Constitution, when you use the Department of Justice, when you use prosecutors, FBI agents, judges, and juries in order to try and put your political opponents in prison, and in the case of Donald Trump, with 91 charges at the local, state, and federal level, all by Democrats, that's an insurrection. That's sedition. In the middle of a campaign, we've never seen this in American history, ever.
For more, sign up for Levin TV.